The Jews told Muhammad that his version of their Torah was preposterous. Christians had done the same with regards to his errant recasting of Yeshua. Both knew that Muhammad wasn't a prophet, that Allah wasn't Yahweh, and that the Koran didn't confirm Yahweh's scriptures. This placed Muhammad in an impossible position. Every literate and godly person around him was calling him a liar, his God a fraud, and his revelations fictitious. The Koran was clear. Muhammad purchased Talmud stories from the Jews in Medina. When Muhammad
changed the words from their right places and forgot a good part of the message,
they held him accountable. They mocked him, rejected him, and disbelieved him. This tormented him. The Jews knew he hadn't received the surahs from Gabriel or from God. They held the receipts. This is why they had to be eliminated. The evidence and the people who held it had to be obliterated before they obliterated Islam. The Nadir and Qurayza were hunted down and slaughtered to keep you and me from knowing the truth. It is why Muhammad mustered the largest raids of his life against Christians. Muhammad's claim is impossible to defend. The people of the book, the children of Israel, the Jews, could not have
changed the words from their right places and forgot a good part of the message.
Nor could they have
altered words from their context and neglected a portion of the message they were reminded of.
Unaltered, unchanged, unforgotten, and rightly placed words, scribed on scrolls comprising the Bible, were discovered in Qumran, dating back to 250 B.C., fully 1,000 years before the oldest surviving Quran. On them we find Yahweh's name written 7,000 times, and Allah's not even once. We find no reference to religion, much less to the religion of Abraham, Adam, or Noah. Despite what Allah claims, Lot, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Joshua, Saul, David, and Solomon weren't Muslims. There is no mention of Mecca or the Kaaba in the Scriptures, and yet stories of Jerusalem and the Temple abound. It is absurd to believe that more than 1,000 years before an illiterate megalomaniac, a perverted pedophile, a profiteering pirate, a bloodthirsty terrorist emerged in Arabia, that pious Jewish scribes purposefully altered the whole of their Scriptures just to foil him. The scope of their conspiracy would have to have gone beyond millions of people plotting together to write Yahweh, Messiah, Jew, Jerusalem, and Temple into the record, and Allah, Muhammad, Muslim, Mecca, and the Kaaba out tens of thousands of times. All of Middle Eastern history, 4,000 years of it, from Persia to Egypt, would have had to have been perverted too, for the Bible to be as errant as the Koran requires it to be. Yet no scholar, historian, or archaeologist has ever discovered any artifact to suggest that the Bible is in error. In fact, the opposite is true. Moreover, Yahweh's 10 Commandments and His message of choice, of love, relationship, and atonement are nowhere to be found in Allah's mean-spirited and immoral rant. So the Quran's central claim is impossible. That means Islam cannot possibly be true. There is a reason Muhammad, the Quran, and Muslim scholars don't explain how, when, or why Jews
altered words from their context and neglected part of the message.
They can't, because the Jews didn't. Some have said, it doesn't matter what you believe, only that you believe. We all worship the same God, and there are many paths to Him. That's like saying that it doesn't matter if a bridge over a gorge will carry your weight, only that you believe it will. To say that we all worship the same God is to say that God is schizophrenic. He's so stupid he can't remember His name or His message. And how can opposite paths, fear and obey, versus choose to love, lead to the same place? It isn't tolerant to allow or encourage someone to risk his or her life on a bridge that is obviously faulty. Their faith will only get them killed. Faith in the wrong object is fatal.
Koran 5, verse 14. From those, too, who call themselves Christians, we made a covenant, but they forgot and abandoned a good part of the message that was sent to them. So we estranged them, stirred up enmity and hatred among them to the day of doom. Soon will Allah show them the handiwork they have done.
The Christian scriptures are comprised of the most prolifically and contemporaneously documented writings in all of antiquity. There are 1,000 times more manuscript fragments dating 10 times closer to the events they describe than there are for the second best documented book, the Iliad by Homer. Further, the central message of the Gospels is salvation through the Messiah's sacrifice, something Islam denies. Yeshua preached love, not fear, relationship, not jihad. The gospel message is as different from the Koran as any two books ever written. To say that Allah delivered both messages makes Muhammad too stupid for words, or barring that, as deceitful as the devil. You'd think that after 22 years of making these things up, Muhammad would have come up with a more credible story. But at least the Bible and Koran have one thing in common. They are both focused on Jews.
Koran 5, verse 15. O people of the book, there has come to you our apostle, revealing to you much that you used to hide in your scripture, suppressing and passing over much. There has come to you from Allah a new light, Muhammad, and a clear book.
Allegedly the Koran. Although it's a detail, it warrants mentioning. Not a word of this was written. The one man who tried had been murdered. The Koran wasn't a book, nor would it become one for quite some time. And even when it was finally committed to paper, it would be poorly written, plagiarized, contradictory, racist, immoral, demented, violent, out of chronological order, devoid of context, and inaccurate. Simply stated, the Koran became the worst book ever written. It inspires the hellish behavior we have come to know as terrorism.